All right. What we got? When you hire the author to direct the movie.
I haven't seen you like this in a while.
Had a fight with some cops.
Hey, I'm Danny Boyd. This is Cinema Sticks.
What's up?
And this is Sin City.
Sin City is fucking goated, dude.
A notoriously unfilmable series of graphic novels brought to life in what would end up being one of the most faithful page-to-screen adaptations pretty much ever. Here's the thing though, there's so much to say about this movie. From a production standpoint, it's that unique. And thanks.
Bro, look. Like, even though the scene is like right here, like, this is what happens. Like when you go mask off, there's all this like just cardboard and just green screen, and it just makes you realize about like what is actually going on in movie theaters, or what it takes to make a movie. It's like, I don't know, it's just funny.
Thanks to all of you and your encouragement, I decided not to cut things back, and as a matter of fact, do something I don't normally do, and expand things out into 2 episodes.
Oh?
That second video will come out in a couple of weeks, but in the meantime, I want to start with the story.
I'm here for you.
He said, how about I fly you to Texas?
We'll just do a test in one day. He called it a test.
Author, co-director.
Frank Miller.
Okay, yep. The author of the comic or graphic novel. It's not a comic, it's a graphic novel. It's very different. Graphic novel is has a hardcover, okay? Comic is paperback.
Sin City's author, creator, and in November of 2003, he gets a call from one of my favorite directors, Robert Rodriguez, who says, I've got something I want to show you. Can we meet? Reluctant, but curious, Miller says, sure. And they meet up on a Friday in some bar in New York City. Rodriguez pops open his laptop, and he pulls up this test footage that he'd been working on.
I took some of the more difficult ideas to see if they would fly. White silhouettes, very blown out backgrounds, faces in shadow, you still see their eyes. Things that were stylistic.
This kind of works. Like, it obviously looks like comic-y, like up here, but then you get to see like the realism right down here, and then like you see that little transition that like as your eyes go from like the top of his face to, or like the bottom, like his jaw, to like the top of his hat or whatever, and it's like, oh wow.
Signatures of Frank's books I wanted to try to pull off in these first tests.
Rodriguez basically needed to convince Miller that Sin City could, on a technical level, be made into a film, and would he be willing to give it a shot?
He said the worst possible thing is we'll end up with a cool little short film and, part ways.
It's actually really good.
Maybe you'll agree to do this.
Like, look at this. This is like, you probably could have drawn this, and I would have just guessed that this wasn't even the real one. And then this one, I mean, this is obviously off a graphic novel, but this is like, it's almost 1-to-1, dude. This is like really good. I mean, because I didn't read the graphic novel when I first saw Sin City. It wasn't like, even when it was like getting marketed, I still was like, oh look, it's the black and white movie. That's all I knew about it.
Fast forward 2 months, January, Texas.
And in 10 hours, he shot an entire 3-page short story of mine.
I'll cash your check in the morning.
Which would end up becoming, just as they shot it, the opening scene in the movie. Now, I've talked about book to film adaptations before. I'll continue to talk about them in the future.
So another movie that I think did this really well wasn't it 300? Wasn't 300 a graphic novel first? And then it got turned into that like baller ass movie with the 300 Spartans. I think if you're gonna do a book to like live action, like transition, I think graphic novels are like fantastic to take from. I mean, yes, they are a little more like seemingly stylized, because if you look at Sin City, it's hugely stylized. And if you look at, same thing with 300 is like, there's so much CGI going on, like all the Spartans or whatever, they're all like got their makeup with their the fabs, as I like to call the fake abs. And and everything is like done in like slow motion. You got the blood splatter everywhere, all the sparks and shit. It looks like when I first saw 300, I was just awestruck. I had goosebumps every time swords are clashing, every time heads are getting lopped off. It was sick, dude.
Your wallet. No, votre portefeuille, Mr. Harmon. You may not.
I mean, but there are plenty of books that were like an actual novel first, and then got transitioned into what do you call it, like live action. It's like the movie form of a story is almost like its final form. It seems, because I mean, yes, there are a lot of like great original movies. They, you know, they had the script and then they just made it into movie form. But I mean, look at Harry Potter. Harry Potter was awesome. You had all those books, all of the dense amount of story to draw from, and the movies are just as awesome.
Not speak.
But Sin City is something a little different. What Rodriguez calls not an adaptation, but a translation. He wasn't interested in simply taking a book, turning it into a movie, but rather, as he says, taking cinema and turning it into a book.
Evening, officer.
And to do that, he felt he didn't just need Miller's approval or input or even his script. He needed him in the director's chair, right next to his.
I didn't think someone from the comic world like Frank, who does what Frank does, need to come into Hollywood and suddenly start down here and move his way up. I thought he should be right at the same level as he's doing what I'm doing. He's graphically and with character and with visuals creating stories, telling stories. So I thought he should just be co-directing the movie.
Nice. Oh, I mean, it said Robert Rodriguez was the co-director, so I guess he was like the traditional director of starting from the bottom, and then I mean that's cool. You got like the author co-director, and then like the director. I guess I don't know how you become a director. You just go to school for it or some shit, or you just do your own thing. I don't know. Hollywood and all its positions are like, save the technical positions of like editor, the sound guy, the CGI guy, you know, clothes, scenes. Like a lot of that you just gain just from doing it as a hobby. But the whole director part, that is an amorphous, intangible thing to me. Like it's like, I don't know, I just shrug my shoulders.
It was the perfect pitch. See, back in the early 90s, Frank Miller became kind of disillusioned by the Hollywood system because of the way his screenplays had been twisted and reworked over the course of various productions. Sin City as a series was his reaction to that, his attempt to make something so stylized, so heightened, and so for himself that it could never be adapted. The ultimate anti-movie. In 2 weeks on...
That's actually a really good... Oh my god, this is crazy to see this in color. Jesus. This is so like off-putting. Like, look at the size of this dude's chin. Like, god dang. Yeah, this is like, and look at his nose. He's got the straight nose. Oh my god, this is so like, this is like unnerving. This is like seeing a like a Dark Souls boss in real life, and it's not black and white like this. Like the black and white filter gives you that illusion of this isn't real. But when you see all of this like in the real color part, it's like, are you serious?
Talk about how developing technology would change that, but as far as creative control went, there was just one issue. The Directors Guild of America, the DGA, when it comes to co-directing, not big fans.
Got into trouble with the DGA who said, oh, well, co-directors can't have co-directors. It usually doesn't work. How did it work with Frank? Well, we both shared something in common. He loved his material, and I loved his material. So we didn't really want to stray from that. I really wanted to translate it directly to the screen.
Yeah, because a lot of these shots, it seems like with the camera work, it's just like a static shot. Like, just leave the camera there. Everybody either just walk in and out of frame just as is. Just to show, like every frame is essentially like a panel from the graphic novel, it seems. So this is pretty cool.
Caring so much about making Frank Miller's Sin City as faithfully as possible, Rodriguez would do the only thing he could do. He quit the DGA. And with that...
And the thing, I think what they did is, like, specifically with action scenes in Hollywood, a lot of the times they'll just be, like, whenever Hollywood films an action scene, since the actors don't, like, do as much choreography as is needed to make the action scene believable, and plus they use 24 frames a second, so you can kind of hide all the little mistakes and shakes and whatevers. They just do jump cuts. So, like, they'll jump cut to, like, somebody throwing a punch, and then they'll jump cut to someone, you know, reacting to the punch, like, oh, that's another one, and then they'll jump cut to the twist of the guy reacting to the punch, and then they'll jump cut to the guy falling to the ground, and they'll do like a camera shot up of, like, the good guy, like, standing over him, and it's like, it's just like so many cuts. It gets dizzying with so many jump cuts. So kind of what they did in Sin City is whenever there was an action scene, they just did the Jackie Chan thing, and they wide angled it, just back off, show it like actual, like, whatever the combat is. It's like, it's very visceral in that there's not a lot of, like, action, counters, punches, you know, very actiony movie like. It's just, like, real. It's like if someone's gonna walk up behind someone and slit their throat, they're just gonna, like, do it very quickly, and you could kind of hide all of the mistakes or whatever in all, like, the black shadows and stuff like that, and you just do it and you just walk on.
The two kept going. Within a matter of days, they'd met with most of the main cast. Bruce Willis, Mickey Rourke, signed on immediately because of that opening scene that they'd shot, and the rest followed suit. Everyone involved knew that what was getting made felt atypical, very un-Hollywood.
Hi.
Because it wasn't Hollywood.
I'm Shelley's new boyfriend, and I'm out of my mind.
And that feeling of artistic integrity and solidarity permeated. The Sin City script alone is such a direct transcription of Miller's text that Rodriguez didn't even take a writing credit on the movie.
Oh, nice.
There just isn't one. Even Miller on set would occasionally ask if they could change something away from how he wrote it or drew it, and Rodriguez would say, hey, sorry, you already inked it. Unless something absolutely wasn't working, and in the cases where shots did need to be added or adjusted, Miller was right there on set to approve them. On set,
that's cool.
And directing.
Too quiet. Too quick.
I would imagine him being right there, like, just to look at the TV and look at the shot and how everything is going. I would kind of imagine, I mean, like, the editing part is going to be the editing part. You know, you shoot all your stuff and then you go into editing, and then maybe you go back and reshoot some things or whatever. But I would imagine, like, there's probably, like, the editing process wasn't too difficult compared to, like, other things, like other movies. Maybe I don't know.
Killer born.
And that was critical. Miller didn't just know his material better than anyone else. He had ideas in his head that almost certainly never made it out onto the page, questions about character, motivation, that no one could possibly answer but him. As a writer on set, or as a consultant, or even a producer, you have authority. Yeah, you have answers. But the difference is that a director, critically, will always remain the instinctual first point of contact for the actors. Make that the same person as the author of the original source material you're adapting from, and like with his pitch, with the script, like with just about everything Robert Rodriguez does, you effectively eliminate the middleman, the intermediaries. You cut through the Hollywood noise and you go direct.
There's no middleman. That's really cool. It's like, that is what I would imagine how you are supposed to shoot a movie. But apparently, this is not simply not true. So this is news to me.
What you end up with is a movie so inherently and inimitably...
I mean, whenever, like, J.K. Rowling was doing her thing with Harry Potter, was she as readily accessible to the directors and whatnot? Or, I don't know, did J.K. Rowling direct any of the movies? I don't know. Or was she just there to, like... Was she there, like, every day of shooting to, like, be a good reference? Or was she just, like, off doing her own thing? Or I don't know.
Faithful, so unwavering in what it's attempting to do, it kind of puts the whole traditional concept of Hollywood screen adaptations into a new perspective. Now, not every adaptation is meant to be or needs to be one-to-one. Plenty find success in being transformative or expansive.
Fight Club.
But if you go all in, that's when it works. When you start making changes purely out of convenience, tweak here, creative liberty there. Well, Rodriguez has that mindset. It snowballs. And that's when you can end up with something wildly different from where you started. Obviously, Sin City was a unique case for many, many reasons. As a comic book author, Miller was perhaps suited for a role in directing in a way others may not be. As Rodriguez continuously reminded him, you draw a comic, you're effectively storyboarding a potential film.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, you still go through the storyboard process, but I would imagine it's still, in general, just look at the graphic novel. What are we gonna do? Open up the graphic novel. Look at that. Just do that.
Find in yourself a sense for dynamic shots, dynamic frames, and in fact, the bold artistic style.
I bet the storyboard guy was like, "Why am I even here?" Or maybe he's like, "This is like the easiest fucking movie ever, dude." It's like almost a one-to-one.
Sin City novels led to some of the most striking filmic shots I've ever seen. Next time, I'll be taking a look at the strategies that were pioneered on Sin City to achieve these kinds of shots, how its world and characters were constructed through—
Oh my god, it's a red tie, it's not a white tie. Oh, I thought it was gonna be a green tie, dude. And it's blue? Oh my god. Oh, and it's red blood, well, like bright red blood or whatever this is to make it. It's probably something with editing. It has to be something with editing. It's like the red tie, like the neon red blood. Huh. This is actually pretty cool. And then he's got like the highlights on the left and right sides of his faces, and like the center of his face is like super shadowed to kind of make him look like an evil type character.
Through an unprecedented embrace of digital technology and what the boons and challenges of adapting a graphic novel are. Until then, I'm Danny Boyd. Thanks for watching.
Bruce Willis. Oh. Oh, I didn't know Bruce Willis was like good on the harmonica. Oh, and he sings. Oh, dang. That's actually pretty cool. Or is this like a special harmonica mic? I didn't even know. Freaking nice, dude. Bro, I think, like currently Hollywood is like, I don't know, creatively bankrupt. Like they're doing like remakes, they're doing sequels. They're like, Disney isn't really doing anything great. A bunch of other corporations aren't doing anything spectacular. They just got done with that writer strike bullshit thing, so everything is pushed back. I mean, yeah, there's probably some good things in the movie theaters, but I'm like, I used to love going to the movies, but now as I get older and I see more like certain types of movies, I'm just like, I'm burnt out on hero movies. I don't really like care about those anymore. Same thing more or less with the DC ones, really. It's like the movies need to be like way more grittier for me to like actually enjoy them. And that doesn't mean like sex or gore or blood or explosions and shit, but it's like, can you deal with like more adult themed topics instead of like this like surface level bullshit? I mean, yes, those movies exist, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't see them in my visuals, my peripherals, whatever. And it's like movies like this, if you want to like make some good ass movies, start looking at graphic novels. I mean, and they can't be like from the traditional like Marvel or DC universe, because the second you say that, it's like I am almost disinterested when you say like Marvel or DC anymore. If a movie comes out and it does great, then fantastic. But I don't know. Like back in the day when Marvel or a DC movie came out, I was like super excited. But now as time goes on, I'm just like I'm so disinterested because at least with Sin City, like they're all just like regular people. You know, yeah, they're a little monstrous here and there, little caricatures and whatnot, but for the most part, it's supposed to be like a hyper caricaturization of people doing shitty things, and I think that's really cool. So if you're just pull for more, like, and even what are those things called? Pull from more graphic novels, dude. I find that stuff to be freaking awesome, for sure, man. Good ass video. Thank you for making it, dude. And yeah, I'm excited to see more. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. All right, later.